Oh, we want to get back to our 10 at 10 and story number 9. It's time for the LA Sentinel Community Insider, our weekly partnership with the Los Angeles Sentinel. And correspondent Niall Anderson joins us in studio with more. Welcome. It's exciting to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. We're excited to kick this off.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you've got some amazing stories coming out. One of them is a special exclusive that you got with really an amazing educator.
Right. So we were excited to break this news. It's in the paper today.
Okay.
Dr. George McKenna III is retiring after 50 years.
Wow.
So he's going to continue his tenure until his time runs out. But the good thing about this is bittersweet because we hate to see him go, but we could give him his flowers.
Oh, yes.
During this time while he's still there. And a lot of people don't know, before there was Joe Clark in the Lean On Me movie, there was Dr. George McKenna.
Exactly. And there was a movie about him as well.
Right, that it was called The Dr. George McKenna Story. And guess who it starred?
Denzel, I know this. Yes, I know those movies, and that was a great one. Really, I mean, for anyone that was able to learn from him, I mean, what an amazing experience.
Right, and I mean, he has just done so much for Los Angeles. You know, he was the principal at Washington Prep. He has done so much for South Angelenos, the Black community. He has inspired some of his students to be educators. And one of the significant things that he did was he allowed all LAUSD students, he advocated for them to have tap cards, which means that they can ride the metro for free. So that was just, he's just done so much for our community, and we're just ready to celebrate him.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing that story. And it is also the 10th anniversary of Black Lives Matter. And I mean, your article is really looking at the progression of this group.
Yeah, we're celebrating this past weekend. They celebrated their 10th anniversary with the festival in Leimert Park, the actual site where it all started. So Black Lives Matter, of course, if you don't know, started when Trayvon's murderer, George Zimmerman, was acquitted. And so it was the gathering space where they just gathered. But we know that Black Lives Matter went from protests, and now they're policy change makers. If we look at what's happening across the country when we talk about reimagining public safety, they've been at the forefront with that. So they're not just protesters, but they are boots on the ground. Give a huge shout out to Dr. Melina Abdullah for her advocacy and her work. And just right now on Capitol Hill, Representative Ayanna Priestley has a bill to end qualified immunity, and that has to do with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and before we let you go, you're also focusing on the exit of Black Hollywood executives.
Yeah, this is a really good story, but I think in context, it's about representation matters. So we have two lawmakers, Lola Smallwood, who's a state senator, and Tina McKenna, who is a assembly member. They brought this attention to the forefront where there are DEI executives who are Black women who have exited their posts within the last 10 days. And this says a lot because the state of California invested $1.6 billion into Hollywood. And part of that was for them to fund their diversity and equity inclusion departments. And where are these women going? What is happening to Hollywood? We see the strikes. So two Black women are advocating for Black women, and I think it speaks to why representation matters, and having Black women in office, they make a difference.
They sure do. All right, Neil, thank you so much. Looking forward to having you here each week to give us a little inside scoop of what's coming.
Looking forward to it.
And for all the information on these stories and so much more, check out this week's edition of the Los Angeles Sentinel. Scan the QR code on your screen right now for all of the details.